Rapture. When energy comes online with mindfulness and investigation, this can produce something called rapture, which has two general meanings, the first of which relates to deep joy, pleasure, and enthusiasm. These are valuable spiritual qualities. Ye of dark puritanical tendencies, take heed of this. It is much easier going on the spiritual path if we are generally enthusiastic and not overly grim about what we are doing. This should be no surprise, but somehow it is often overlooked. I am not advocating hedonistic Epicureanism here, nor particularly condemning it either, if done skillfully. But to walk the spiritual path with a sense of joy, a sense of wonder, a bit of a smile, and especially a sense of humor is good for you and everyone who must be near you. Sure, there will be hard times and difficulties that can have good lessons to teach us, but be open to the joy and happiness life can bring. Natural wonder really helps many things, including and specifically investigation. Reality is simply amazing. Our minds are amazing. The vast intricacy of what happens in each moment is truly remarkable. When you sit with amazement at what is going on, like a vast, complex, rich work of moving, fluxing art. When you walk with a sense of wonder at all the little aspects of movement, of balancing, of a body moving through the air, through a changing landscape, with all the little facets that make that up. The feel of our foot touching the floor, earth, sand, grass, moss, leaves, stones, or whatever we are walking on is simply amazing. Air is amazing. Breathing is amazing. That we think is amazing. Food is amazing. Have you really looked at a glass of water lately? When tasting, smelling, hearing, seeing, feeling, thinking, speaking, eating, and doing anything else, really tune in to how fascinating it is to perceive all these things. This natural curiosity, this enchantment with the experience of the ordinary world, is total gold. Practitioners who incorporate natural wonder into their practice will do much better, have a much better time, and be much more fun to be around than those who don't. Reconnect with that effortless wonder that children have about themselves and their world. If things get dark, difficult, painful, dull, lifeless, artless, frustrating, edgy, or boring, reconnect with this meaning of the word rapture, and see if you can find something amazing about every moment. You will be glad you did. Spiritual practice can also produce all kinds of odd experiences, some of which can be very intense, bizarre, and far out. This is the second common connotation of the word rapture, and these experiences are commonly referred to in this and other traditions as raptures. So when the word is in the singular, rapture, this means being enraptured with your sensate world. It can also mean an upwelling of pleasant euphoria, as we will see in the section that maps concentration states. However, when I use the word in the plural, raptures, this means strange meditation side effects. Some of these experiences that I will refer to generically as raptures might be pleasant, some may be weird, and some might completely suck. All the strange physical sensations, pains, pleasures, movements, visions, lights, perception distortions, energetic phenomena, muscle tensions, etc., which may or may not show up as a result of spiritual practice are all just raptures. Repeat, just raptures. Don't get hung up on them or spin stories out of them, as compelling as they can be, and don't think that they are required or a mark of authenticity or spiritual superiority either. They are not. The sensations that make them up come, go, don't satisfy, and ain't you. Most are just byproducts of meditation and strong concentration. Some produce zero wisdom. Some can be disorienting and troubling. Some, of course, can provide deep insights into the truth of things. But don't get stuck on these. Many of these lessons show up once and never again. Some people can get so serious and fixated on suffering that they fight the pleasant raptures and even cling to the difficult ones. Don't do this. The joy and pleasure that may arise in meditation have wonderful healing aspects to them and can lead to deep tranquility, concentration, and equanimity, which are all good things that support further practice. On the other hand, you don't want to cling to pleasant states either, as you will just get stuck and be frustrated when they end, which they always do. In general, if you try to fight or cling to raptures, you will get stuck, and if you can accept them as they are, you will benefit. See Equanimity at the end of this list, as well as the expertly written Chapter 9 of A Path with Heart by Jack Kornfield, whose whole book is well worth reading. This is a good place for me to mention the concept of Vedana, a Pali word that relates to the degree of pleasantness, unpleasantness, or neutrality of a sensation. We have no similar word in English, and probably not in whatever language you might be reading this in, so perhaps we should just use the word Vedana as it is. If we pay too much exclusive attention to sensations that are pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral, while ignoring the other sensations going on at that time, we are likely to miss many opportunities for insight. Preoccupation with pleasant sensations can cause us to become vapid bliss junkies. Preoccupation with unpleasant sensations can cause us to become dark and depressed. Preoccupation with neutral sensations can cause us to become dull and emotionally flat. Thanks to Christopher Titmuss, one of my more important meditation teachers, for the inspiration for this paragraph. Our experience tends to be a complex mixture of many flavors of sensations. They are all quite worthy of investigation. Becoming fluent in the vast range of our varied experiences makes meditation much more interesting, workable, and broad, and is required to pass the final exam, as it were. The take-home here is that rapture and raptures are to be understood as they are, and should be related to wisely, accepting all sensations that make them up, be they pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral. Learn when to put the brakes on, if the difficult raptures are teaching you their important lessons a bit too fast for you to keep it together, and learn how to open to the wonderful joy and bliss that spiritual practice may sometimes produce.